This is video 4 for our Keith Haring figure sculpture. Now that we have our figure and our figure has plaster on it, it is ready to be painted like this. Now we're not just going to pick any colors. What we're going to do is we are going to pick 2 colors and we are going to do a gradation of color. So the colors that I chose for this, believe it or not, are blue and red. And what happened is when I start to paint this, I am doing a gradation of color where there's a smooth transition from one color to another. So for ours, I'm going to take a minute to look at the color wheel. Okay, you are going to pick 2 colors. We have our primary colors right here, red, yellow, and blue. Those are the 3 colors that you get to choose from. You are going to choose 2 of those. Now keep in mind when you choose those, what those 2 colors make. So if you're choosing yellow and red, you're going to actually be choosing all of these colors that are in between the yellow and the red. If you're going to be doing red and blue, you're working with all of these colors. Yellow and blue, these colors. So you're going to choose which set of colors that you would like. Okay, right here you see that this is kind of like the color wheel. It's the blue, and then it goes to almost the red. The red is almost gone because it's more of the red violet up here. But you can see that there's a really smooth transition of the color. Alright, so for this I'm going to go with, let's do the blue to the yellows. Alright, so I'm going to start, you're going to think about what color you want to start at the top, and you're going to simply paint it. Alright, so when you're working with the plaster is very porous, meaning it sucks up paint real fast. So you might go paint over a section and then you might discover that you have to repaint over it again because it sucked up all of the paint. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to continue painting this. In some areas where it might be, you have a lot of plaster, you might have to kind of like jab your brush in there and get it to be covered, because your goal is to not see the plaster at all on this project. You want to also work 3-dimensionally. Notice that I have this in my hand. I am rotating this and moving it around so I can paint all angles at the same time. All right, so you're going to start painting the top part of your person, and you're going to paint almost to the center. Almost to the center, and I'm just going to focus on one area so that you guys can see the transition of color. So I'm going to stop right here with the color, okay, but you're going to keep painting all the way over all of this stuff. Then I'm going to put my brush down, and you're going to need 2 brushes to do that. Then I'm going to start using my other color, my yellow, and I'm going to paint this part. Alright, so I'm going to just paint the front of this sculpture. I'm going to make sure that I'm really jabbing it into the sections of the person and the sculpture, and I want it to meet closely in the center. Okay, and finish it. Here's where the magic happens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to wipe it on here. Notice I'm not drying my brush. I'm not wetting my brush. I'm not washing it, doing anything like that. Then what you're going to do with your brush is you are going to move it back and forth between the 2 wet paints. This will only work when the paint is wet. So if you do, say you do like the top part today and next class this is still dry, you're going to have to repaint a little bit of the blue area again. Alright, so now what I'm doing is I'm mixing it. So I'm starting to mix it. Do you see the gradation is now going from blue to almost like a blue-green, if you can see the color wheel. And now I'm going to start to get into the green and into the yellow. Alright, so I'm going to wipe a little bit of it off, and then I'm going to still continue the gradation. Now you can see the color. Once I have this blended, I'm going to wipe my brush again and keep going until it gets to the yellow. And this is how you do a gradation. It shouldn't look like it's stripes. It should look like it's evenly going from one color into another, just like the actual color wheel. So what you want to do is at this stage you want to make sure your entire thing is painted, even the bottoms, okay, even the back, all of the sections, so make sure they're all completely painted in. and then you're going to put this on the back to dry. There's one more finishing step that we are going to add when our person is completely dry. If you have any questions, just ask.